Hi guys, so now we have encountered two types of classes. One is the concrete class, where all the methods implementation or the instance variable have already been predefined at the moment you create a class. The second one is the abstract classes, where you can have the instance variable, yes, and you will have several functions or methods that you haven't implemented yet, and it is yet to be implemented in the child class. So this is an example of abstract methods under the abstract class. And for your information, abstract class can also hold the methods with body. So this is the special thing about the abstract classes. So, however, there are limitations toward the abstract class as well as the concrete class. Is that Java only allows us to inherit one class at one time for the class. So let's say if we have a class cat, there already extends animal. Even if we have another class like animal, so for example animal 2, even if we already have this animal 2 class, but we cannot actually inherit this by using a comma. Yeah, this is illegal in Java, where we can only extend one class at one time. So this is probably not going to be enough for us. Now, the way we can solve this issue is that we can use something called interface. So interface is with the keyword interface and animal. So for example, interface animal, then I will define the method inside. So interface means that it doesn't have this is a class also, but it doesn't have any instance variable. It also doesn't have any method that has been implemented. So simply said, it contains nothing but only abstract methods. So this is how we initialize an interface. So inside the interface, we only define the method to be implemented. So for example, so in this case, I'm not calling it as extends already. I use the keyword implements for interface. Remember, we are using the implements. So now we don't have the super constructor because of this animal being interface instead of a concrete or abstract class. So now this so it also doesn't have instance variable, right? So instance variable we need to define here. So this dot name equals name. Now I must override the public void run instead in the child class, else I will get an error because I already implement this interface but I didn't implement the class the method body. So in case you might be confused about why we are using the interface, one of the good things about interface is that we can implement however times we want. So if I want to give another interface that is it to the class cat, I can actually use a comma to differentiate to input more than one interface. So now we get an error because of this. We haven't implemented the it yet. So cat is eating. Yeah. So you need to implement both methods in order to avoid the error, because you implement the interface animal, which requires you to implement run, and animal 2 that requires you to implement it. So this is how the interface is formed. So what's the good thing about interface? Well, interface can be a very, very strong thing because I'll show you a very, very simple example here. Let's say if I have a method. Yeah. So you also static method. Animal run. So in this method animal run, I will take an interface as the parameter. So the interface is run, right? So this animal, I can actually use the interface as the parameter type dot run. So why is this legal? Well, I'll try to see if it is legal, yeah? Animal run with the cat inside. So let's try to see if it will print the same thing as previous one. But as you can see, cat is running also. So this animal run can be much stronger than you think actually. For example, if I have another class, dog, that implements only the run, right? So this is not needed, and override only the run. So the run is dog is running. I can actually do something like this: animal run, and now I define a new dog instead of a new cat. This is puppy. So this is also legal, a valid syntax, so that you can plug the dog inside actually as a parameter. So now you can slowly feel the importance of interface. I hope that you can. So everything that you want to pass in, right, they need to conform to the interface. So let's say if you want to run this animal run, both must implement the animal interface. So let's say if a dog didn't implement it, right, even though it has a function like public void run, but you are not able to do the animal run by calling the dog as parameter here, because dog is not under the interface of animal. So mastering the usage of interface is really important for you, especially when you want to do some testing, unit testing, for example. So when you are doing the unit testing, you try to imagine that you have like many different functions. Each function will perform their own logic and their own operations. So normally when you are doing the test case, you only want to be concerned about the output of the particular file, and the other behaviors like from other functions, you can actually mock the behavior so that you don't have to go into detail, into very deep, like navigate from file to file when you want to do a testing. In current stage, you might not feel the importance of interface yet. So you just remember that interface is something like a checklist. So it provides a list of methods to be implemented. If you have all these methods and you implement this interface, it means that you both have already gained the bonding. So you are now under the interface of, for example, animal or animal tool. As long as you have implemented the method override of the functions being stated. But that's it for interface. See you again.